Hello, Danielle with Elevated AI here. We're going to talk about NotebookLM today some more, and I am very excited. This is one of those tools that I just keep coming back to over and over again, and I know you will too once you see all the really cool things that it can do to help you prepare. This is how I would use it to plan a lesson. And let's just dive in. So Thursday, we're going to be working on Shooting an Elephant by George Orwell. It's one of my favorite works to discuss because Orwell faces this very real ethical dilemma that he has to choose whether he needs to shoot the elephant or not. Without going into too much detail. And I think that with the students, it really resonates because although hopefully they're not faced with a lot of elephants that they need to shoot, but they do have to make some really big, huge ethical decisions, and nothing ever feels right, and nothing ever feels like it's the best choice. And a lot of why he makes his choice is so that he's not losing face in front of everybody. And I think that teenagers and young college students can really get that. So I started off actually not even on a NotebookLM. I actually started off on Perplexity, and I wrote a really bad prompt, and this is just a bad prompt, but I got some really bad results. This was very, very disappointing. I'm seeing like essays from students. I'm seeing like, wow, this maybe interesting literature. I don't know. I mean, does that even mean it's good? I don't know. Now, the Orwell Foundation, good, great. Biography.com, yep. Encyclopedia Britannica, maybe. But in any case, I just kept scrolling to look at everything. I'm definitely not taking anything from study.com, EBSCO, maybe. You are the expert, so you know whether to do this, to pick these sources or not. So I'm definitely not getting anything from Reddit. So I found the sources that I wanted to work with, and then I found a few more, and I loaded them here. I had a few videos that I wanted to include as well. And I just loaded, there's only 7 sources here, which I think is a manageable number. And so that we could see how the audio overview works, I actually got that started so that I could play it for you, because that's one of my favorite options is when you ask it to create an audio overview, and it's right over here in the studio. And it's in this upper right hand corner, but you can see it's all also right here, and it is just really helpful for giving you an overview that you can listen to in the car while you're driving or while you're cleaning the house or something, because I don't know about you, I just don't have time to sit and read everything right now. So here's what this guy's in the way. Here's what it sounds like.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are plunging into a really fascinating source. It feels less like a story and more like a psychological confession.
I'm not going to play much more than that, but I just find it really, really fascinating. There's also a video overview, which I'm going to check out, but I didn't want to waste our time here with that. I also asked it to create a study guide for me, or a study guide we have some quiz questions. There's a whole bunch, and I could easily, they gave me an answer key too, which I did not even think about. But what you could also do, and here's some essay questions and glossary. This is actually really helpful because I regularly have to define this term right here, and also like the word must. I'm wondering if that comes up in here. Yep, must. So this actually would be really helpful for me to just copy and then send off to my students so that they could work on getting to understand what's happening in the story. So let's go back to the studio. I just want to make note of a few more things that are here. So you've got flashcards, you've got a quiz option. If you open up reports, it actually gives you a whole bunch of options. So I don't know if you'd want a plot walkthrough just for maybe this is part of your scaffolding for some of your students. Maybe you need, and I definitely want to talk about, actually this is kind of interesting, I definitely want to talk about the biographical profile of Orwell, because I think that that's essential to understanding why he does what in fact he does. So the other thing that I find really fascinating is that I can actually interact with all of the sources. So while we're waiting on that report, let's just ask a question. If I wanted to talk about rhetoric and his style choices, what would I focus on? So this is me interacting with the sources so that I get a sense of what they say as a whole. This is less on, just one particular source and more of an overview of everything. And you'll notice that at the back here of each of the responses, it actually gives you the source that it is referencing so that you don't have to guess where it came from. So it gives me a whole plan, the rhetorical situation, which of course I would want to talk about. Ooh, the ethos is going to be really important in this. Oh, the irony, and I just love irony, don't you? And the performance. Anyway, this is a great plan for me to move forward. Now, I said this a little bit when we were talking about the sources, but I just want to remind you that as an expert, you get to decide what makes sense, because I don't think that, my English composition students are going to have as much of a difficult time dealing with, like, for example, the concepts of irony and rhetoric, because we've been talking about them for the past 6 weeks. But if this were the first thing I were teaching to my AP Lit kids last year, I probably wouldn't be jumping right into asking them to talk about logos, ethos, and pathos, and so on and so forth. So it's really, you are the expert, you know your kids, you know the material, you know what will make sense when you present it. What I like about NotebookLM is it just puts everything all in one spot for me so that I don't have to go like filing through all of my binders, and not just my binders, but the binders that Enid left me from when she retired 15 years ago. I have all these materials. I can't look through all of them. It's all right here. It looks like this is still, the biographical report just finished. And it looks like it's a really nice kind of paragraph by paragraph address of how this works. I don't really care, personally, I don't really care about this being an autobiographical account. I mean, I care about that, but I would prefer it spend more time talking about his early life, because I think that really starts to play into things. I don't know. I'm going to have to take a look at this. I won't let you know what I think because you probably don't care. But what I do want you to take away from this is that NotebookLM is a great place to start prepping for lessons, especially on stuff that you either already feel like you know really well and like maybe are forgetting things, or if you haven't ever taught it and you're like, well, where do I start? This is a great place to start. Let me know how it goes.